myself to ensure that I am not going absolutely bananas. I feel pet show, and then for the rest of the entry, I just basically wrote down some fun facts about cilantro and coriander. I didn't know that cilantro fountain pens with different colors. Unfortunately, that I didn't have time to remake it, but yeah, I might revisit that, and I guess if it turns out better, I will put it up in the store as well. Alright, so that's basically it for this ink journal. I didn't really talk too much about the inks, and most of this was about the setup and kind of like my thought process, but I think for future episodes where I maybe feature 5 to 10 inks at a time, I will talk more about each individual. Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful 2026. Most of you are pretty familiar with this is my ride or die planner, and I've been using this since I think 2021, the section, and the daily section. So for my lifestyle, I really like the fact that the Koichi Kazen has the timestamps going from, well, it's basically like 24 hours. So it goes from 5 in the morning to 5 in the morning over here, and it just continues throughout. A lot of hourly planners have washi tape, stuff like that to kind of decorate. But anyways, I use this section to time block my schedule for the week. You can see that when I have events spanning several hours, I draw a little bar to indicate that time block. It's also a little bit of memory keeping. As you can see, like I have fun stickers in there, and I often get questions asking like, is there any recommend? And that is definitely not the case. You can upload whatever I'm doing and get ready to go. I think clear out my email inbox, but I was just feeling really bad on this day, so I covered it out, planned my entire week in advance for the next day. That's because whatever I need to do on Friday really depends. I'll quickly talk about the title page. So every month I'm going to try to rewrite and some like important due dates. And then for each day, I flip to because I get free time for the weekly section. I just use a pencil to darken the margin, and this way I have 2 columns. Here I have my morning routine, which is my medication, my meal something for my day, my full day, but sometimes I will like fill out 2 or 3 days at a time past. So for my steps and workouts, again, I fill this out for things that lie down. My outdoor runs, things that I can only fill out, shower, how I'm feeling, like fill out my planners every day. I can kind of give myself a break for a few days and still fill it out without having to recall a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna only show this in ads, and then for example, here I have my 2027 monthly collection. So the title and page numbers. It's not too big of a deal. I took a little break from filming, so the lighting might be different. But anyways, next up, I'm going to talk about my ADHD to-do list journal system of bombing. A few days of work. Basically, it can be how I do my own list. Sometimes like the most important comes to mind first, so I write it for priority or like a chronological order of how I want to do things. And under normal circumstances, this is like enough for me. However, if I'm going through a really busy period with like numerous projects going on, and I kind of have some like paralysis about where to get started, this is where this notebook really comes in handy. So between the 2 bars that you see here, that is like a single work block through the to-do list that's in, and I consider like what I can feasibly get done in the next, write it down in a chronological order. I also further break things up into, I will write down further the exact sheets that I want to work on, and being a bunch of little things, I suppose like that's part of what really helps me. So yes, there's definitely some repetition, and it takes time to rewrite the things and even write some tasks, but I don't do all of my sketches in here. I also have like some of it in my, depends on how I'm feeling and what I have available to me. This fits in all of my purses and most jacket pockets, so I tip 2025 sushi cover. I'm not using this as a dated planner, rather as a recipe journal. So I use the perpetual calendar as a index, and as you can see, I have a bunch of different categories: cookies, cakes, breads, desserts, savories. The directions are written for me to read, so I often skip a lot of like steps. But yeah, again, this recipe journal is for myself, so from a single source, I will give credit. So this is like just one cookbook. This is Natasha's Kitchen. Maybe sometimes I forget, but I will always try to give credit whenever possible. And yeah, this is just a fun place for me to keep track of all of the things that I have been making. I think this year I'm going to try to take photos and print out little squares of whatever I make and maybe paint a place section so I have a visual reference as well. So yeah, that is my later told that this is basically what a commonplace journal is. So that's what I call it now. And yeah, again, I write down notes from articles that I read, some ideas of projects that I also have some math, poetry.